Welcome back to On Rate Podcast. Here you have Elijah alongside Grant. We took a little refresher here. Wrap up of the Big Ten season, wrap up of kind of the non-playoff college football part of the season. Obviously, we're going to come with a lot of content coming up with all things Michigan. But first and center, we got to give praise to the Lions. Starting out the season, I think 1-5 since complete turnaround. Rattled off, 5 of the next 6 games, I believe. Right in the hunt of things, right in the thick of things. Would have never ever thought that. I guess we got to take the blessings when they come. But I'm throwing it over to you. How do you feel about Lions football in general? How do you feel, having some meaningful football games to watch and be a part of, mid-December?
Yeah, I'm impressed, man. I think one of the biggest things, I know we had talked about it on here a couple of different times, was like they were just so depleted on defense to start the season. I think we know why I had like 8 or 9 guys on IR to start the season on defense alone. So you noticed when we were that 1-4, I think going into Dallas, started kind of getting some guys back, and then the run kind of started after that they're on right now when guys started to get healthy. I just see a team playing with confidence, playing with nothing to lose. They are, taking on, Dan Campbell's mentality, or, to a certain extent, I'm seeing now really just trying to get the job in Miami is necessary. And I love how we're doing it. Running the football, big plays. It feels like whether it's a fake punt or it's a, pass to Penei Sewell, Jared Goff airing it out to Jameson Williams, his second career target of his career. He goes 40 yards for a touchdown. It's great seeing how it's coming together, and I love how it's not just one guy, right? Like it's been like a by committee thing on offense. You got some more, some bright spots starting to fill in on defense, getting better over time. Getting better as the season goes on. Love seeing Hutch. I think he's really turning into that anchor on defense. He's commanding double teams, quarterbacks running for their lives, just in the pocket now. I mean, it's really been impressive to see. Wish we could have, I ain't gonna be negative Nancy on this episode, but if we could have, man, at least that Bills victory would have been so crucial.
Yes.
We had to try to snag that one. We were trending in the right direction around that time, but that's the one thing about the NFL, man. Look back on the season, have 1 or 2, plays here and there. But I'm glad that they're capitalizing. Dan Campbell's not getting in the way, what's going on, being too aggressive or just whatever that looks like. And it's great to see.
Yeah, no, I would say I could sum all of this up in one phrase, and that's winning cures all.
Yeah.
I think winning cures all, and it makes every situation seem better. Whether that is, I'm still not 100% sold on Dan Campbell. I will blatantly say it, but also
same.
You can't argue with results, and winning cures all. You can't argue with. You cannot love Jared. And I'm not talking to you particularly, but you cannot love Jared Goff, but results. You can. When it comes down to it, that's why sports are such a favorite of mine. Is you can really see what people are talking about. It's something that's tangible. It's going to come out if you put what did you put in off season, what you put in as far as draft, what you put in as far as coaching hires. All of that comes out on eventually. And obviously injuries happen, unfortunate things happen. But I would say all that being said, we seem to have turned the page. And if you're going to lose to any team in the last handful of weeks, why not the Bills? I think that's still one of the better teams in the league, and everything is still in front of us as far as playoff hope, as far as rattling off somewhere near 10 wins, or whatever, getting above 500 or whatever you want to say success is, or maybe some people would say even getting to this mark would be a form of success. But I think you have to really continue to build on that, and it's the point of the season now, and I feel like this is the 10th time we've said it's a turning point, but it really is. They keep finding their ways to be in unique positions. But you rattle off 2 more wins, and whether you make the playoffs or not, people are going to be ecstatic about that record. And that's something you can really hang your hat on. we did this. We are taking this team from the depths, all of the draft capital, all of the salary cap availability, and that's something you can really build on. But you really have to continue to get a couple, because you could also fall flat on your face the next couple of handful of games here,
Yeah.
and that would probably that's going to definitely make the fans a little more sour taste in their mouth, and maybe shy away a free agent or two that you might be able to get, or whatever that may look like. You gain the momentum and keep it rolling with these victories,
Right.
and keep them by any means necessary mindset. You do not have nothing to lose. And, I'm gonna wrap it up here. I feel like I'm going long winded, but you say you're playing, with the more or less nothing to lose mindset, and I do think that is, it seems to be a working recipe. I think obviously we made the joke fourth down Dan many a times here, but I think if you're going to strategically do it and play by the surprise element of surprise, and I think it's working. So
Yeah.
and they're having fun. First and foremost, the team looks like they're enjoying it all.
Yeah, definitely. And I'll say too, I mean, I think something that happens with being a Lions fan, right? Like it's not even like being in a rush for results. You've just seen no result for so long. So, there is a little bit of like impatience on our end. But I always felt like we always kind of kept it, at least, had the understanding that, like, yeah, the roster is not where it needs to be quite yet. They did have a lot of injuries coming into the season, but this is where it starts to get exciting, because now, to where, being 1-5 or 1-6, wherever they were, to being 6-7 now, like, that's going to be a huge difference. I think one thing that, draft capital is great. Well, you mentioned free agency. I think that's one thing that, like, kind of gets forgotten about, here and there. Just from that standpoint, but like, they're putting, like, even if they don't make the playoffs, you would hope that, like you said, a couple more individuals, free agency, are like, man, like, I'd love to go play, go see what they got going on up there, Lamar Jackson. But, I like overall, like, where things are going, and you would just hope at this, I even like, too, like, the teams are beating, like, these ain't no slouches. Like, they punched Minnesota in the mouth, went to New York, handled the Giants easily, with one of the best running backs in the league. I mean, they've just really played, some great football. And yeah, I mean, I think this has been very ideal. And I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't really see the success kind of coming as quick as it did, like, after how the season started. And I definitely didn't think that we'd be literally like, I mean, we're win this week and it's like playoff is a real possibility.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, 100%. I think playoffs are a real possibility. Beating this team's a real possibility. I think I just looked. I think I don't remember the exact order, but I know we play the Bears, we play Packers last, Jets, and Carolina.
Yeah.
So I think Jets, Carolina, Bears. I mean, really all of them. But Jets, Carolina, Bears. You would have to think you can go into those games feeling very confident.
2-1.
Yeah.
Like, what I'm saying? Like, don't want to throw that out there on them, but, like,
that's the atmosphere you need. I agree with you. And I'm kind of, we definitely didn't talk about this in production here, but I get mad when I hear people say, basically more or less, can you win the Super Bowl with golf? Can you win the Super Bowl with golf? And I'm sorry, we don't need to talk about that.
No.
We just need to get good, relevant, in the, like, I want to say playoff, but let's just, first of all, let's start with just this type of thing where we're pretty solid. And then we're talking about playoffs. And then once we get in, maybe we lose. And then we talk about winning. That's the arch of it all. Most teams don't draft the Burrow slingshot into Super Bowl in 2 years.
Right.
That's just not a realistic thing. And I get upset with hearing that, because I think that's how you cost yourself a good, building a real solid team. And it is just by trying to swing for the fences maybe here and there. So I think we need to really take this and see the success we have had, and that is, and it sounds cheesy, but being a gritty team. Is that's like you said, the defense is flying around the ball now, night and day from when it was a track meet, we were getting lit. Well, still, old boy passed for 400 yards on us, but it's a more of a bend but don't break, compared to just getting broke, like it was at the start of the season. So
Well, as Mel Tucker said, those are, pass yards are overrated stats. So
it's over. Yeah, getting ran up on, getting lit up. Anyway,
yeah,
no, I agree. We have to take this, and I would love to, like you said, 6 and 7 is immaculate. I really think to be at. I didn't have it anywhere tasting 6 wins. So
Yeah.
the fact that I'm sitting here and I might be slightly upset if we don't get the 8 or 9 is that just shows the type of momentum that we do have.
Yeah.
But and just real quick, I mean, this is just for shits and gigs here, but you talked about Jameson Williams, and that was good. I've been hard on that pick. I've we
Me too.
talked about it, a while back. Where's he at? What's happening? Watching Christian Watson, have, I think he has like 4 or 5, 6 touchdowns this year already. And, it was great to see potentially what we could have.
Right.
And outside of all that, I picked the wrong game because that first game he was plus 5,500 for first touchdown score. And, and I put 25 on him that game, and then he scored the second game. Anyways, no, but in general, I could see, that was fun. That was exciting to see. Just that electrifying speed. And I'll tell you, this is what I said to my dad. I said, that'd be the last time he has a linebacker on.
Man, yeah. Yeah, no, and I got to personally give credit to Goff because I was asking for his head quite a bit last year. And I don't know, he always kind of had that like mantra that he needed everything to be pretty much perfect to be able to do anything. I mean, it definitely looked like that last year, just with all the injuries all over, not really having like a lot of weapons all around him. But I'll give him credit. I mean, having like Amon St. Brown out a little bit, losing Hawkinson, DeAndre Swift he's always hurt. I give credit to
it was probably about 4 weeks ago when we ain't have a receiver out there.
Yeah, they were throwing it. Yeah, Reynolds and Kennedy were the ones. Yep. I mean, and shout out, Kennedy. He ended up being a guy to forgot what game it was, but ended up having like a great play to where we came, ended up coming back and beating somebody a few weeks back. I'm blanking on.
And that's the thing. I think another thing. Shark. I mean, we paid Shark a lot of money this year. I mean, some games he's on, other games he ain't. But we got
like showing up.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think we'll pay him again. Definitely not that much money. But either way, I think we're gonna have $10 million to work with that. I mean, we got a lot of things happening here, and I don't know. I think it's crazy. I would have never guessed this. And,
right. So and it feels good too. Like, you're okay with like this success because I mean, we both were just like, it's 1 and 6. We might as well drop them the rest of the games to try to secure a top 3 pick. But the Rams, they're
doing us a favor.
They're like that pick's top 5 now. So I don't know. Like I said, everything's just going really well right now to where we're looking good from a free agency standpoint. We're still looking strong regardless however we land in the draft from a draft standpoint because we got 2 first rounders. I just like the, a lot of the stuff that we were kind of pounding the table on and, a little frustrated about is starting to come to fruition a little bit overall, which has been good to see.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think, and then what, like 5 picks in the top 60 probably. So I think, with what we've seen with our defense, and I think that's a no-brainer. But obviously we don't got to get to that now. And I think there's a few players out there, Jalen Carter, that are only multiply what we currently have happening and only make Hutch that much better, only make everything we have happening that much better. So
imagine him and Will Anderson, Hutch or Carter or Will Anderson on the outside.
I mean, we can have all 3 of them. That's possible.
It is. It very much could be. Yeah.
Yeah. No, 100%. That's what I would do. If they laid out there, that's no question what I would do.
Right.
No, and I think we just want to. Anything else to say about the Lions?
Yeah, I mean, I think we can kind of talk about that Jets game a little bit and just see what the thoughts are. I mean, I think that's gonna be one of them games where they're kind of like similar teams essentially, both in a rebuild, both feel like they're kind of like speeding up the rebuild or a little more ahead of schedule than anticipated. They had a great draft last year. We had a solid draft last year. They beat some teams that, I mean, they're definitely been overachieving just like we have. But I just think, I mean, how we've been playing on the road, at home, it hasn't really mattered. I'm just looking forward to seeing what they, able to do, having to go back out to New York again and play the Jets.
Yeah, no, I think, and their quarterback just got hurt too, right? So it's
He was getting lit up last week, so I think he's
it's on limbo.
gonna be banged up, supposed to start still. So
okay, but no, I think on the road again. I think second time we played in this stadium. So one got a victory out there the first time. I think it is kind of a toss up, but with the momentum we have, and I think, I mean, there might be people waiting in Detroit Airport if that motherfuckers go 7-7. So I think with that momentum, I think they could probably get it done. So I personally I'm kind of leaning towards that. I think we have a lot of things going right, like you said, full team out there. Things are going right on defense. Things are going right on offense. I'm sure, Jameson Williams walking around with a head 5 times his normal size. He thinking So I just think in general, we have a lot of things going for us, and to come back 7-7. I mean, that'd be the city be ecstatic.
Yeah,
they would probably be able to hear Detroit from the stadium.
I'll be calling asking if you want to go to the Bears game on New Year's Day.
Yes. Right. Yeah. Everything else with tickets would go up. Everything would go up. And I think, and like I said, it's a turning point. But if you can go ahead and get that done, go ahead and get even 7-7. That's how it is in sports. You fight back to get whether you kick the ball off right off rip and they score. What does the coach say? We got to score anyway to win. Once you tie things back up, it's all even. It's like it's like we started the season off again.
Right.
And then it's a whole new season. Let's go 2-1 from here and we can get in. So I think, I think that's the conversation they're having. And and why not the Jets? They're,
right. Yeah. And I agree. And I think too, like in the NFL, anything can happen any given Sunday. I'm just looking at that schedule, man. Go to New York. Got the Bears at home, if I'm not mistaken. Carolina at home. Then I think it's to Green Bay. Might be missing a game or two in there, but like go 3-2 at minimum. You know what I'm saying? Just and like look at playoffs aside. You know what I'm saying? If you can just like 8-9, 9-8, just be in that realm. Like I just touched on it. Like draft status. We already got another number 1 pick in there, so it's not a huge deal. But like, just hope that the free agents will see that and we'll start. So we can get snag 4, 5, 6 guys that can plug in. We can plug in and just bolster up that defense or just shore up whatever other holes we have. So it's exciting, and I just hope that they can continue to keep it rolling and continue to play as loose as they are.
Yeah, no, I think that only makes them harder to defend. Playing that loose, not knowing what the hell they're going to do. I mean, is Sewell coming out for a pass? Are they about to fake punt it? Are they about to, it's like there is kind of, when you team that up with a team that is fighting and fairly a solid team, it is kind of hard to defend. They're, all that being said, I think I will go out on a limb here and say they're going to come back to the city. I think I might have jinxed them the only other time, but I think I'm going to jinx them. No, I'm going to say it 34-21. I'm going to go ahead and give it to them.
Okay.
I like the momentum they have, and I, openly admitted I was on the road during that game, but I did go back and watch a lot of it on replay, and it was exciting, and just hearing the conversation. I think I like the momentum, and 7-7 doesn't sound bad. I think the team has proven they can go out and do it. I think
yeah. So I'm gonna say I'll do like 27, 20, 21. Just watch. Actually, the Jets actually ended up playing the Vikings like 2-3 weeks ago. Only lost to them by 5. So I'm looking, we just beat down on the Vikings. Hope, but I do, might be a little tight just because of it being on the road or whatever. But I still do feel like they got enough just to get us over that hump. And yeah, I think they'll win by a possession or so.
Good deal. I'm hoping, man. 7-7. That'd be what? That's 14 games, and we play 17 now, so we'd have 3 more games. Yeah, so 3
Mm-hmm.
more. Yeah, I think. Yeah, you get this one. I mean, any of them. Like all these are all winnable teams, all winnable
Right.
games, and I mean, I do think as a fan here, we should be asking for 2-2 to finish out at
Yeah,
least.
at minimum. Yeah, at minimum. I agree. I
Yeah,
agree.
100%.
So
No,
yeah,
just to transition here. We a lot of touch on college football here. You see G rocking the Michigan hat. We're still riding high college football playoffs in the next couple of exits here for us. But a lot of interesting things happening here in football outside of that, and that would be the transfer portals and just how that is affecting college football, NIL deals, how that's affecting college football, college sports in general. But you sent me a text yesterday, and it was the list of highest, I believe, in general, highest schools with
transfers.
transfer players, and it's riddled with SEC teams. Main which would be Texas A&M losing 20 players after they've had, I believe, top 3 class last year. So it
Mm-hmm.
is, we both agree that players should have the freedom and flexibility to kind of move and come as they want, to and from.
Yeah.
But what's it saying about these coaches, these programs, and kind of how some schools are approaching it, whether it's a Texas A&M or Colorado's got to get up to speed here, or Michigan State a year or two ago compared to how Michigan's treating it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I just feel like, man, I pulled it back up just to kind of see. So now it's legit like 1, 2. I mean, the top 3 schools are SEC schools, and then 4 out of the top 6 are SEC schools. Yeah, rounding out the, at least the top 10, 7 out of the 10 are SEC schools. That tell me a couple different things. Like that tell me NIL's working, and it also tells me that it's working, but schools are also like overdoing it,
Mm-hmm.
to where like NIL is doing what it's supposed to do for the kids, but I think schools, and we talked about it before we hopped on, schools are also, boosters are also having a hand in this. And it's not being talked about like, I mean, everybody knows what's going on, but you do know there's are those schools out there that are starting to kind of throw money to try to grab players. And at the end of the day, man, it's still a team game, right? Like it's, I think one thing that we'll get into it more, but what I like about Michigan so much is I feel like we've used the transfer portal perfectly the last few years. Even going back to all the way to getting Jake Rudock. We needed a quarterback as soon as Harbaugh got there and just had somebody to kind of plug in, play him. I don't think that's anything that that coaching staff has ever just wanted. Was just like, man, we just got to live in the portal, live in the portal, live in the portal. How other schools are. But yeah, I mean, seeing these numbers, it's kind of crazy, and I'm like, it's also exciting to me too because I think it's going to level out the playing field. Some of these kids probably might end up out in Boulder, Colorado with Dion. You know, some of these kids might start going to the Big 12, the ACC, the Pac-12. To start to like make it to where it's a lot more competitive across the across the board. And I find it ironically, NIL started. We watch Bama lose national championship. We watched them go 10-2 since the portals, or since NIL started. So that just tells you something right there to where it is starting to kind of shake things a little bit.
Yeah.
Like these schools, they're not getting like 2, 3, 4, 5 stars at one position. They might be getting 2, 4, 5 stars at one position, but that one that they needed, he ended up going to another school up the road or something like that.
Right.
So I think it's going to be good for college football. I do feel like there is going to be some leveling out that still has to take place. I think it'll take care of itself over time, but I've liked how Michigan's handled it.
Yeah, no, and I just looked it up. According to 247sports.com, Texas A&M had the number 1 recruiting class last
year. Yep, and they got 20 kids transferring out.
Yep, and they only brought in 28 kids. So, no, I think that right there, I think what I would say is I do, obviously we both agree, and we don't have to get on this, but we both agree with players being able to, sell their name, image, and likeness. We both always agree with players shouldn't have to sit out when they transfer from school to school. That was not even that long ago. That was truly bizarre to think about. That a player that is transferring on his own accord, nothing bad happened, nothing crazy happened. He just wants to get out of there for whatever reason. He wants to end the business deal the same way the school can end the business deal, and he has to get punished for it.
Yeah.
And I think you're beginning to see that. I think in general, players that may have not transferred in the past because they were due to having to sit out. Let's say like 10 to 15 years ago, Cade McNamara probably just has to ride that out.
Right.
Yeah, he's a senior. COVID year wouldn't have been a thing. He just lost his spot. He got injured. It is what it is, bro. That's that's more or less what would happen. We'll always thank you for that first one.
Right. And by the way, you can't go to Iowa if you you know what I'm saying? Like there's those things to be put in
and
place.
if you do transfer,
you can't go here. You can't go here. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. So I think no, I mean, I literally just popped in my head, but you remember Evan Spottridge?
Yeah.
Yeah, he transferred, and we told him he could go to no Big Ten school, or basically, I think it was whatever it was. He ended up at Maryland, but it was like he listed. There was like a bunch of schools that were legit on there that he couldn't go to, including like State, including North Carolina, and like they really limited his pool. And I think that was obviously much more common. But now you have Cade transferring within the conference, actively recruiting other players off the team. It's entirely different lay of land. I think schools are going to rise and fall from it. But I do think in general, Michigan's handling it well, where we're not. I never think it's good to dive too much one way or another. We're not completely shunning it where we never take a player, and we're also not diving in headfirst, Mel Tucker style. I think we are using it very strategically, and that is by the book. Very strategic. And like you said, we needed a quarterback. We went and got Rudolph. We went and got Shea Patterson. Two very serviceable. Shea obviously came with a little more highly regarded, but two very serviceable quarterbacks. We needed a center this year. Transferred in number one center, probably number one drafted center this upcoming year. Just won the offensive lineman of the year award, whatever that was.
Outlet trophy.
Yeah,
Nagurski.
Yeah, two of them. Yeah, and I think and named him a captain mid-season. So I think those are the type of players you are looking to get, like players that are going to actually contribute on the field, off the field. They are looking to transfer to just better themselves, and not because they got he was playing. He could win anywhere he wanted to.
Yeah,
probably including the NFL. And I think he came here for a certain reason, and it's working out. And I think that's how we have to keep doing this. It looks like we're doing that this year. I'm openly admit I'm blanking on the names, don't know the names that well. I know we got an offensive lineman from like Arizona State. And I think we're going to probably finish off with 2 or 3 more random guys that are going to be contributors. They're not going to come here and also be upset. It's not a roll of the dice as well. It's a contract that we're entering. We need this role filled. You want to come here for whatever reason. Boom. It's not, whatever State did when they brought in 44 players 2 years, or 34 players, to whatever it was. It's not even that far off, like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then they, wonder why you have the outcomes you have.
Right. Yeah. No, I think, like you said, we're just treating it like it's literally just like, I just feel like it's just like free agency almost. You hone in on a few guys that you need to fill a spot. You're not doing this mass overload year to year, trying to turn over the entire roster, just because kids are available that came from specific schools and may have been a 4-star when they were coming out of high school. It's very strategic. Like Olu, he was no stars coming out of high, you know what I'm saying? Like that was just like playing very well at Virginia, wanted to make a move. It's worked out to where it was great for him academically from a football standpoint, like, and so on and so forth. So I just out of curiosity, like I said, we always talk about the NCAA being a Wild Wild West when it comes to the transfer side of things. Do you have a solution to try to like fix this in any way?
Yeah, no, I think first, and I don't know for sure. First, I think you have to ask, is it a problem that needs fixing? I think ultimately, I think if you, I think that would be my first question. I'm not sure if it's broken or this is maybe the outcome of, NIL deals and not having players be able to sit out. But, I would say if you want to slow it down to a certain degree, you would probably have to reel in the NIL to a certain amount,
or watch the boosters and see what the boosters are like paying. Other boosters, they get to pay money, but like I know the NCAA, I didn't mean to cut you off. I know the NCAA can't get involved in certain things. But I think like I'm not like walking back what I said. I don't think like NIL is so much the issue. I think like the checks that are just being cut from like boosters at these schools, you know what I'm saying? Just like throwing money at kids to where they're just like, well, didn't work out this year. I want to the next one.
Yeah. No, I think no, and I'm straight stealing it from Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, off a podcast I watched an hour ago. But he was saying that there's a different name, image, and likeness should be a contract that is done between player, a business entity and their parents, or
Agent.
an attorney or an agent. Yeah, something along those lines. It shouldn't, and it should be, like, I don't know if you did, but every time I opened my Facebook, practically, I would see Blake Corum's like boot ad for Wolverine boots. That clearly is an ad. He's on here. He's talking about his dad wearing them, working at the construction sites. He's talking. That is a full blown endorsement, like a professional athlete would have, like a rapper or singer would have.
Yep.
That's entirely different than here comes to Texas A&M and here's just 250 racks a year because you got the jersey on.
Right.
I think you are going to create two different atmospheres with that. And I think in a lot of these players, although we agree they should get paid, they maybe are too young to be making those type of decisions when it's solely about money. If you're going to sell yourself to whoever offers the most money, you're probably going to put yourself in a few bad positions.
Right.
And I think so. Not to say that the money is the problem, but I think if you're going to allow them to just run rampant with it to this degree, you're going to ultimately have players who are taking deals ending up in Waco, Texas, and they don't want to be there no more. You're gonna versus when damn, I should have went to Michigan, I should have went to Alabama, I should have went somewhere else. I don't have no business being in Waco, Texas with Jimbo Fisher. And that type of
yeah. And I think one thing too is like, because I think it honestly, and they won't say this, but I feel like the coaches, I think they kind of end up playing even more of a factor. Like, and like you said, I don't, because you said it the right way. Like, I don't think like NIL is not the problem. I think just kind of like how like kids are kind of being swayed, and like how coaches are swaying boosters to sway kids to like it's a whole like ordeal to where there's just a lot of like these people that ain't got nothing to do with the football team. They just went to the school and made a lot of money from going to the school, and they're just kind of funneling this money to try to like compete to get these kids. And it might be a situation even in Texas A&M where Jimbo, he probably brought in 8-9 wide receivers. You know what I'm saying? Just because they were available and they just had the money to cut, the checks to be able to cut them, and whatever that's kind of looked like. I think it's and I don't, obviously when it comes to like the boosters, I don't think like nobody can really step in and regulate that at all either. But I think that is like NIL aside, I think that does kind of tend to be the one that's like, really starting to like make an impact on some of these schools. Is just like, cutting these checks for coaches to just be like, here, like you can come here, you can come here, you can come here. Like, so yeah.
No, I agree. I agree. And I think like we said, we have to really figure out whether we think it's a true issue or not. And but I think when you do this, you're turning into a business, and business deals go bad, and you're gonna potentially, just like all of us, I mean, hopefully they don't watch this, but I love my job. But if somebody called me and offered me double the amount, I'm probably taking a new job. Like, and then if that shit don't work out, I'm in the transfer portal for work.
Right.
So I think that's kind of how it's going, where people take money in hope that it's going to work out, or and I think there needs to be a little bit of accountability from the kids' point of view, from the parents' point of view, from their high school coaches, whoever their guidance team is.
Yeah.
But in general, this is what it is. If it's a business deal and you got paid X amount of thousands or potentially more, hundreds of thousands of dollars to go there, and you're mad at the situation, I think you have the right to leave. But also, if they're paying you that money, they have the right not to play you or whatever if they don't want to.
Right. Yeah, you gotta. Yeah, at the end of the day, you go to Michigan to be one of the greats. You go to Michigan to win. Win Big Ten championships. You know what I'm saying? Graduate from one of the best schools in the nation. Like you don't go there just to like get like Harbaugh's not just paying people to go there to play football.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think, and obviously I'm off the rail. I'm trying to think of another time where you could be like 18 and be like a hot commodity, and everybody want. Okay, so like a famous, you're a 18-year-old, and you just happen to make a hit song in your basement.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of similar to this circumstance where you shouldn't necessarily go to the record company that's going to offer you the most money. If you're
Right.
18-year-old starting quarterback, you shouldn't necessarily go to the school that's going to offer you the most money. Maybe the second or third record deal, but they're going to have you in the most eyes, or you're going to be on TV the most, or they're going to actually care and cater for you.
Invest in you more.
Yeah, yep. That is where you need to go because you'll ultimately end up further than just taking this bag at the short term. And
Right.
I think, but also I think this is going to play out where these stories are just now being told for the first time. These none of these players can ever turn to look at the star player when they were a freshman or in the 8th grade and say, "How did you treat this?" Because they weren't getting paid before. So I think these stories are just now being told for the first time in the next couple of classes, 3, 4, let's say 4 classes, 5 classes from now, when they heard the horror stories of what happens when you just take the money, or heard the horror stories of promises, and they'll figure out how to make this better overall. Or you got to, which whatever the case is. Hey, no, what you really need to do is get you a LCC and set your whole, put all the money in here or this and that. Whatever the case may be, they'll find a way to really get this and maximize it for these players. But these ones are kind of more or less the test dummies for the whole situation. Or lab rats, or that sounds better.
Yeah,
But
guinea pigs.
yeah. So the next, we'll see. Let's have the same conversation 4 years from now to see if it's slowed down or if this is the new lay of the land. But I think there are no guidance to, nobody can help you in that situation because it's never been a thing. If your high school coach had 100 high school offers, not one of them could really offer him some money.
Right.
He doesn't know how to treat that. If your dad was a 5-star athlete, he can't help you. Your uncle, nobody knows. Even whatever. So I think these we're figuring out now as we go.
Yep. Yeah. No, that's a good call. Like I said, and at the end of the day, I mean, I love that these kids do have the power because for me, it was always like, I mean, you got these coaches jumping ship soon, like literally hours after the regular season ends. They're in a whole different uniform, talking about this thing in a whole different fight song. Not even a week later, but then you're gonna make these kids sit out a year when they transfer to be closer to their family because of whatever's going on, or the situation just not panning out. How whatever it is, they got injured, or they was told that they moving forward with other people, in that same position. And I'm just glad that they got the same amount of flexibility as coaches do now.
Yeah. I mean, a coach should come to a school, sign a $90 million deal, and not do nothing, and get fired and walk away with more money than any of those kids are probably ever really making their life.
Yep.
Other than the dude that goes to the NFL.
Right. And I think
getting fired.
Right. Yeah. Buyouts. Just they on a golf course for 6 months until whoever calls.
What's Coach O? Yeah,
I was or Taggart, or you said Coach who?
No, the old LSU coach. When he found out he was gonna get fired, but he was gonna get like $17 million, he's like, "Where do I sign?"
My man's Orgeron.
Yep.
Yeah. He was like, "Well, we're gonna ride this one out." But no, I always talk about the dude Willie Taggart, and I don't knock the hustle. To me, it's like the kids should be able to move the same way. My man's was at, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is how it went. He left USF, went to Oregon, so that was all in like 1 year. And then I think he had a whole season with USF, started at the new year at Oregon, got fired like pretty much towards the end of the season with Oregon, and ended up going to Florida State. Something along those lines. He was at long story short, he's at 3 schools in like a full calendar year. And there was just no he ain't got to sit out for a year. Nobody's choosing where he gets to go from here on out. Like these guys, I mean, they're signing contracts. Like they're signing things that, are saying like, we're going to stay here until further notice. And
imagine if the AD came down and was like, "All right, you leaving? All right, you can't coach at none of these schools."
Right. Yeah, that's what you never hear that.
Yeah.
So I just like I said, I'm just glad everybody, they're keeping the same energy. It's the
No,
kids move how the players do. You hope at the end of the day the kids are getting the good advice, making the right move, doing it for the long term and not for, a few bucks here and there, which, I know a few bucks could be hundreds of thousands to a million, but like at the end of the day, you just hope they're making the right decision for themselves.
no, I agree. And this is probably the last thing I gotta say, but I no, 100% I agree. And I think it is it's harsh, but it is what it is. When you are opening up checkbooks and taking deals and real money, legal money is exchanging hands, you're in a business contract.
You leave yourself vulnerable to
Yep.
disappointment.
And anything can happen. Yep, anything can happen. As long as that money was exchanged, they don't owe you nothing else.
No.
They don't, from nothing.
Right.
And that's how you have to worry about who you get in business with.
100%.
And don't fall for the shiny object. Really, really do your due diligence, see who's going to care about you when you get on campus, who really has, like you said, vested and has your best interest at heart. And I think, that's, as honest as I could be about the situation is, when they don't owe you nothing. And, not even, I hate to say this, not even respect. They pay you that money and it's that, you know, it is what it is.
Right.
And I think, so you have to really work, figure out who you're doing business with.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, no. So I think in general though, we're headed in the right direction.
Right. Yeah. At the end of the day, I think in 2, 3, 4 years, especially with the 12-team playoff coming, I think you're just gonna start seeing a lot more like depth, top to bottom in conferences.
Mhm.
And we can cut after this, but just one little piece here. Throwing you got Luke Fickle at Wisconsin now, and then old dude at Nebraska. I mean, that's just and you look at all these kids in the portal, you know what I'm saying? Like you can already kind of see how hopefully the Big Ten West is able to
Yeah. Get up to
use this
par.
to their advantage to become a little bit more to where they're not literally. I mean, they haven't won a Big Ten championship in like the last 9 years, and with that,
Yep.
that conference championship game. So stuff like that, I'm excited for what's to come when it comes to like just kind of leveling things out more, where stuff just ends up being a little bit more competitive.
Yeah. No, and it should do that. It should. Few things happen. I mean, it'd be interesting to see like Coach Prime if he can do something. Like I think you'll be to see the new age coaches if they could really use this to their advantage.
Right.
And do it right. A
Yep.
combination of the grassroots and that, get your stuff up to par fast. Yeah. No. In general, though, I think it's only helping. And yeah, I mean, I ain't never gonna be mad with a dude, a little underimpoverished having $100,000 in his pocket.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
no, sure. You got anything else for the people?
So we'll be back with y'all come Monday with some more content, and yeah, go blue.
Yes, sir. Go blue. Go lion.
Go Lions.